Yummy Shanghai fried noodles. When you're looking for a quick and simple one-pan meal, this is it. Hey everyone, I'm Flo, a home cook bringing you simply delicious food ideas. We're making Shanghai fried noodles today. I just love the texture of the noodles. They're chewy and springy, and it is a must order whenever we go to a Shanghai restaurant. We're using about 9 ounces of pork. I'm using pork shoulder. You can totally use pork tenderloin, but I kind of like the fat that's in the pork shoulder. I'm just going to slice it thinly so that it cooks faster. All right, I did trim off some of that fat. There's quite a bit. Don't need to eat all of it. Just want a little bit for flavor. Okay, we're going to put this in a bowl. And we're going to let it marinate while we prepare the rest of our ingredients. So I'm adding 2 teaspoons of soy sauce. And this is just regular soy sauce. 1 teaspoon of sugar. Sugar helps to balance out the flavor. 1 teaspoon of cornstarch. Cornstarch helps to velvet the meat. About 1/8 of a teaspoon of ground white pepper. And since my hand's dirty, I will just marinate it with my hands. All right, we're just going to set this aside. We also have 1/2 of an onion that I'm just going to slice. And I like to slice from top to bottom because it holds its shape better. I have 6 shiitake mushrooms, and these are fresh shiitake. I'm still going to take off the stem because I find them hard to chew. But if you're using dried shiitake, just make sure you soak them before you use them. And you probably won't need as much because the dried ones are more strongly flavored than the fresh. We're just going to slice them thinly. And if you don't want mushrooms, you can just totally omit them. You don't have to use mushrooms. I have 2 huge cloves of garlic here, but you can use as little or as much as you like. I'm going to chop these up, and I find that by just smashing them a little bit, it's easier to chop up. All right, this is good. You can leave them chunkier if you like, or you can chop it up more finely if you like. Totally up to you. I have, I want to say, 4 long leaves of Napa cabbage. And you know, in this Napa cabbage, there were like these small, very tiny leaves. So I just, took them out, and that will be the equivalent of my 4th leaf. But if you don't have access to Napa cabbage, and it doesn't have to be this long one, it could be the short stubby one, it could be the mini ones, or you can use regular cabbage. It would all be very yummy. So you decide what you would like. And you can even use like Chinese yu choy or bok choy. It's totally up to you. Very versatile recipe. So we're just gonna slice it up into slivers. So we have about 2 to 3 cups of shredded cabbage. Moving on to the sauce, we are using 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of oyster sauce, and oyster sauce really does add that extra flavor. One tablespoon of dark soy sauce. Dark soy sauce will give it some color. But if you don't have dark soy sauce, you can use light. 2 teaspoons of sugar. 1 teaspoon of better than bouillon, chicken flavor. And if you don't have this better than bouillon, you can just use regular chicken bouillon or omit it altogether. Totally up to you. But I'm just looking for some added flavor. And about 1/4 teaspoon of ground white pepper. Just want to dissolve the better than bouillon a little bit. Okay, and set that aside. Living in Vancouver, we are very fortunate to have access to a lot of Asian ingredients. And so I was able to find these fresh Shanghai stir-fried noodles. But if you can't find these, you can always use udon noodles. They have the same sort of chewy texture to them, so they really are a very good substitute. On medium-high heat, I'm getting my wok ready. If you don't have a wok, you can use a large frying pan. I prefer using a wok because it's big enough that I can move all the ingredients around. And as soon as you see a wisp of smoke, add about a tablespoon of whatever cooking oil you're using. I'm using avocado oil today. But you want one that has a high smoking temperature and not just, like olive oil is not a good option because it will burn easily. And we want to put the pork in here for about a minute so that it gets a nice sear on one side. You just want to push it around so that it creates just one layer before actually stir frying it. When you get that searing, it's like extra flavor. So I'm just going to try to sear the other side as well. Once the pork is mostly cooked through, just push it off to the side. And there's enough oil in here, I think. And I'm going to add my onion. And if it's a little bit dry, you can just add another splash of cooking oil. You want the onions to cook for about a minute or two, just until they're a bit softened. Adding the mushrooms. All right, I forgot to add the garlic, so I'm just going to move this over a little bit. Add a little bit of oil and toss my garlic in there. Just for 30 seconds until you smell it. And then incorporate it into the rest of the stir fry. Oh my goodness, guys, this smells so good right now. Okay, adding my vegetables. The cooking part goes pretty fast. So you want to make sure you have all of your ingredients ready to go. Okay, you want to cook this until the vegetables wilted. I'm going to add my sauce. Then the noodles. Switching over to tongs. And we want the noodles to be covered in sauce. Now the noodles are already about 90% cooked through, so we're just going to cook them a little bit longer in the sauce so it absorbs all of the flavors. Look at that. Looks so good. Dining out continues to be so expensive, guys. So a dish like this could cost about 20 bucks, I guess, but you're not getting nearly as much food. Maybe half of this and then like a quarter of the meat that actually we have here. So much easier and it's quick to make, guys. It's like, 15 minutes maybe, and you can get dinner on the table and feed your family for however much it costs you for the ingredients, which Really, it's not very much. I'm just adding some green onions that I cut up. The last minute of cooking. We just want the green onions to be wilted as well. Turning off the heat and drizzling in about a teaspoon of sesame oil. All right, let's get this on a plate. Right, at a generous restaurant, you may get about that amount. But I still have more than half in the wok. So that's about 1.5 pounds of noodles. Look at this, guys. Are you all ready for the taste?
Dude, this is the taste. Guys, this is a mountain of noodles, mountain of super tasty noodles, and the value quotient and taste quotient is high. Oh, it's hot. Oh, you know what that means. Could be a burned tongue somewhere in my future. But for you guys, wow. Great aromas, the marinade, the sauce, basic ingredients equals great results. The meat is tender and the noodles are chewy and it's soaked in the flavors of the sauce and the other textures of the onion and the napa and the crunch together brings on a awesome mouthfeel. So good. Another fine example, guys, of doing up a simple dinner, and simple does not mean bland. This is exploding with flavor. Your family's gonna love this.
Awesome, thanks, dude.
Yep.
For more simple recipes just like this one, check out FLO'S.com.